So the intersection is split up into two roads, the A road and the B road. If you want to change the duration of the lights, you do that on the master material in the materials for intersection, and this gives you access to all the parameters. So if you want to alter the duration of green, you can do that here by typing in a new value. Same with amber and red. And if you save, that will update all the material instances. All these lights for both roads use the same master material. There are also some other parameters. So if you want to create an apocalypse type scenario, you can turn on random light flicker power surge and sequence scramble. So 0 is off and 1 is on. And if you save that, now all the lights will have a flickering effect. The countdown will run backwards and very fast. So to turn it off again, you can just input 0. You can also change the brightness of the lights. So the brighter they are, the more they glow. If you had a whole city worth of intersections but you didn't want all the lights to go green at the same time, you could offset them by a value that you can input here. So it's on 10 at the moment, but if you don't want an offset, you can put it back to 0. So the pedestrian crossing is simpler. All the lights have the same sequence because there's no B road. So if you want to change the duration of the lights, they have their own material, mass material in pedestrian crosswalk, but it has the same parameters as the intersection, and you can just type in different numbers here. This is changing the default value of that parameter, and that's just so that it updates all of the different material instances, because each light is an instance of this master material, but it has its light type set using these other parameters. You can see them here. For example, the material instance for the red light, it has light type set to red, but it's taking the duration from the default values of the master material. So I'll just set up an intersection from scratch. So I go to the meshes for the intersection, and I'd work out which my A road was going to be. So this is an A road, but it's the left side, AL and variation 2. So I need an AR for the right side, and you'd have to look at some reference perhaps when you're creating this. So then we need the other direction of A, so I'm using AR2 and AL. So now the B road, and I just use the B traffic lights. And the default materials of all of these are already set up to create a working sequence. You can see they're already going there, and the counter's counting down. So if I want to set up a pedestrian crosswalk, there are more meshes than you need, so you have some choice, but you've got 2 with the counter, and then you need to pick 2 more for the other light showing the other way. and that's how that works. You might be wondering, what do I do if I want 2 pedestrian crosswalks with different sequences on the lights? To do that, you need to create another master material for the pedestrian crosswalk, and I'm going to put it in a different folder. So I'm going to create a duplicate of that. So now I have this completely different master material for the pedestrian crosswalks, and I just need to go and create the instances for red, and I open up red and I just have to set light type to red and turn it on and save that, and do the same for green and amber and stop and walk. Once you have those, you may or may not want to rename them. So they've all had MI written in front of them, MI for material instance. So now we have all the material instances that we need. We can just go to where our different pedestrian crosswalk is, and we just have to drag the new materials onto their correct slots. So that one just has red, green and amber. This one has red, green, amber and some others. So green goes there, amber, red, and you just have to match up walk and stop. And the final one. And now you can just edit that master material, the parameters, and set a new duration for your pedestrian crossing B. And the process would be exactly the same for the intersection. You just need to make sure that when you're replacing the materials on the intersection, that you pay careful attention to the material that's there already and make sure that the new material that you've made matches up with it. So the stop B material, for instance, that has to have light type stop and road B traffic cycle offset enabled with values of 1 in both. So you just go to each traffic signal and you make sure that you're matching up. So stop A just has light type stop set to 1, it doesn't have road B enabled. If you want to use these meshes and integrate them with your own traffic system that's more complex, you can start with a mesh, but you'll want to use the non-animated light materials, and all of these are in the materials intersection folder, and these are just materials that have a simple on-off switch. For example, the green material, if we drag this onto green and look at this element, if we open this, you've got a switch for green on off. So 0 is off and 1 is on. And you can use these basic materials in a more complex system where you're controlling the on off with code. And you could overdrive them as well, like that.